What's up, everybody? Welcome back to your favorite New York Jets subscription podcast, Badlands. I'm your host, Joe Caporoso. 12-pack, Jets Rams. Only 3 games left. Going to rip through some thoughts, some bets, some predictions for this Jets home game. Another home game in MetLife Stadium for the brave ones who are going out there to enjoy it in the cold. Before I dive into it, very happy to say that we're continuing to work with our good friends from Magic Mind. Bang, right here. I've been talking about this one for a while. I have it every morning. I use a subscription. Very easy. Comes to my house. Nice box of 15. And I do it with my coffee usually. I find it, I get to have less coffee because I have it, and it helps with my focus. And we've had a couple different opportunities for our listeners. So I recommend that you check out the link in the bio of the episode. You'll get 20% for a one-time purchase off, or you'll get 48% off a subscription with the code JETS20. All natural ingredients, tastes good, goes down very easy. You have it chilled like right out of the fridge, and give it a shot for a couple weeks, and I think you'll notice an actual impact. I only talk about stuff that I actually use, and I've actually been getting this subscription this entire season. And it's been needed because there's Jets news and stories to talk about every single day. So we appreciate them continuing to support Badlands and the 12-pack. All right, Jets Rams. 12-pack, 8-6 on the year. Can we finish with a winning record? Jets are 3.5-point underdogs in most spots. Over-under is sitting in the mid-40s, depending on where you're looking at it. I think this is a fascinating game, actually, for a team as bad as the Jets at 4-10, playing a Rams team who's 8-6 with everything to play for, still very much, in contention to win their division, make the playoffs. The cast of characters that you probably know pretty well by now: Sean McVay, Matthew Stafford, Puka, Cooper Kupp, Kieran Williams. A lot of firepower on offense. Some young, talented pass rushers on defense. Some inconsistency in the back end. I think last year they punched above their weight. People were surprised to see them make the playoffs and almost knock off the Lions this year. I think people were a little hesitant to maybe write them off, and they've performed to those expectations. They've had some weird games and weird moments, but they're a McVay coach team, so they're generally competitive every single year. That's the benefit of having a good coach and a good quarterback consistently. So I think the Jets are going to be a popular upset pick this week, ironically enough, with everything that's went on. From the Athletic story and the Rodgers documentary and all the non-football chatter going on. They're coming off their first win in a while. The offense has been playing better the past 2 weeks. There's a discourse that's been reignited about Aaron Rodgers being the quarterback because of next year, because of how well they've played on offense the last 2 weeks. Now, the real caveat here is that the Jets have played 2 really bad defenses, and their win came against maybe the worst team in football, or like the next worst team in football, and the Jaguars, and probably the worst defensive team. But points are points, and they're moving the ball, and they're scoring touchdowns, and that's rare for Jet fans. So I get the excitement around that. Now it's a step up from a challenge perspective. They're playing at home, going to be cold, going to be windy. It's New Jersey in December. They're not playing in Florida like they did against Miami and Jacksonville. Rams are a much better team than Jacksonville and Miami. They're not like an elite dominant defense, but it's a better defense without question. So the challenge for the Jets is, was this offensive performance the past 2 weeks an anomaly because they were playing bad teams, or is this really the sign that they've turned a corner with a healthy Rodgers, with Downing calling the plays, with Devontae 100% and in sync with Rodgers, and Garrett Wilson still making plays, and even though they don't have a great running game, the offensive line has held up well. We'll see. And I think this game is going to be high scoring. I like the over in this game. The Jets allow a lot of points. I think they will allow a lot of points in this game, and McVay is going to carve them up. I think they could score a decent amount of points. This, to me, feels like a 34-24 type Rams win. So an over, a Rams cover, a game that is competitive into like halfway through the fourth quarter where the Rams pull away. I think the Jets offense plays well enough that the discourse and the momentum of the fan base wanting Rodgers back will continue. I think he'll throw for like 250, 260, a couple touchdowns. I think he'll have a turnover because they'll be behind and they'll be throwing a little more He'll run a little bit, have like 20 yards rushing. He'll play pretty well. I don't think he'll play quite as well statistically as he did against Jacksonville or Miami, but he'll still play well where people are like, all right, that's like three really good games in a row or three good games in a row. Buffalo's the one, which we'll talk about next week, that I think is really going to be a much bigger challenge and a real potential buzzsaw for this year's version of the Jets. This game, they're at home. The Rams are flying across the country for an early kickoff. I think the Jets will get points on the board early. I think the Rams will get points on the board early. So I like all the associated overs with this game. I like the game over. I like the Rams to win and cover, although I think the Jets will be competitive in this one. I think most places, Rodgers' yardage total will probably be like 230 or 240. I don't have a problem going over on that. He's going to keep forcing the ball at Devontae. You grab Devontae over on receptions, on yards, anytime touchdown until he forces you to stop. Maybe you get some good value on Garrett because so much stuff is going through for Devontae. I think for the Rams, man, I think Puka's going to go off in this game. It's not like the Jets have Sauce trailing anyone, and we saw what Brian Thomas did last week. I think Puka's like a 8 for 125 and a touchdown in this game. I think Kieran Williams will run for 90 to 100 yards and a touchdown or two. Stafford will play well. You get your offensive overs in this one. I'm expecting a lot of points. This is going to have like a late 2018 Jets-Texans, Jets-Packers feel to it, ironically, when the Jets played Rodgers with Darnold. A lot of points, high scoring, a lot of offense. Ultimately, the Jets lose late and, stay on track to be picking like, 7th or 8th, which we'll have plenty of time to debate through. So if you're placing your bets, you're looking at the over. I would, not necessarily bet on the Jets to win this one, but, crazier things have happened. It wouldn't be the most stunning thing. Them beating the Bills would be a more stunning thing. And again, look towards your offensive overs. And if you're looking for a few more outside the box things, Braylon Allen got banged up last week. Brees is clearly not 100%. Think you could probably get really good Isaiah Davis value in a lot of places. He's going to catch a few passes, I'd say like 3 or 4 passes for 30 or 40 yards. He'll probably rush for 40 or 45 yards. I think he'll get some decent action with him. Conklin should be back in the lineup. Let's see if he gets a couple targets and could get into the end zone for his 3rd touchdown of the year. If you're looking for some more dart throws in there, I wouldn't be touching any of Ruckert's receptions or anything. So that's the picks for the 12-pack. Connor and I will be back tonight, probably around like 8:30 with reaction to the game. Thank you, everyone, for listening, and we will talk to you soon.